I don't know about you guys, but I've never been a fan of people telling me what to do. Asking permission to do things as a grown adult or a self-aware individual is wild to me. Like, I gotta check in with you to live my life?
Nah, I'm gonna do my own thing.
Now, hear me out. We do need help in our corner when rationality is thrown out the window. Everyone needs a little help or guidance, but putting your pride aside ain't easy. What's good, you guys, and welcome back. If this is your first time here, my name is Damien, or you can call me Daze, and I wanted to talk about why I quit my job. So, at the time, I was working at an ice skating rink as a cashier. It wasn't a bad job. I was going to school at the same time. I needed something to help me pay for, all my expenses. Pay for my car, and pay for my insurance, pay my rent, things of that nature. I started the job thinking I was going to be a server for the restaurant they had upstairs. And when I walked in, they handed me a t-shirt for the cashier position at the snack bar. So for quick reference, I'm used to high-paced, high-stress environments like restaurant work. So when I got the position at the snack bar, I was like, hell yeah, this is a piece of cake. Little did I know it was going to be a mental warfare between boredom and insanity. I met a few people over there that I can tell stories about for days. One girl in particular who had a problem with, let's just say, nose candy, Coca-Cola, white powdery substance for your nostril. If you guys want to hear that story time, let me know in the comments. Anyways, the job wasn't that bad. It was just a huge downgrade from where I was. I went from working in one of the most popular restaurants in my town to working in the back closet of a hockey rink. The job was meant to be something 16-year-olds could do after school. So about maybe 4 to 5 months into the job, a buddy of mine was graduating from the Marine Corps, and I wanted to drive up to see him. I requested the days off about 3 weeks in advance and prepared the trip with another friend. We saved up a lot of money to go on the trip, over $300, which at the time, being a college student, isn't easy. I put the days up, and about a week before the trip, my manager told me that they wouldn't let me take the days off because they had a tournament going on. So basically, when working at the hockey rink, whenever they had tournaments going on, they basically needed all hands on deck. That means nobody was allowed to take days off, nobody could call off, none of that without being heavily penalized. Also, let me just say this manager had passive aggression down to an Olympic sport. If there was a gold medal for being petty with a smile, she'd have a whole array of trophies. She was the type of manager to see you on your phone and walk up to you like this. She was quick to put people on the spot too, not caring at all who was around. She wasn't all bad, I'm just painting a picture of what kind of manager she was. She had her cool moments, but it's easier to remember what someone did to upset you than the time they gave you a $5 coupon for your own job. So I told him about how important it was for me to be there to support my friend. Scratch that. This guy was my brother, and I would do anything for him. We've known each other since junior year of high school, so about 2 years at the time, and he lived right down the street from me before being shipped off to boot camp in South Carolina. I was always hanging out with him and his family, and if I was going somewhere, he most likely was gonna come with me. Always sticking out his neck for others, and I admired that a lot. So there was no way I was gonna miss this because of my backdoor closet job. So when I got home that evening, I told my parents about it, and my dad approached me about a potential job offer where he worked. And on top of that, they were willing to pay me almost twice as much as I was making at this job. I immediately put in my 2 weeks. Quick side note, why do jobs give out 2-week notices? I understand it's like a professional and it's basically to say you left on good terms, but when they want to replace you for any reason, whether it be your fault or not, they're like, well, good luck. As an employee, where's our 2-week notice? The only 2-week notice I've ever gotten from a job is them slowly taking me off the schedule or just taking me off the schedule altogether, which still isn't a 2-week notice, but you understand where I'm coming from. So the manager hit me up through text about me staying at the job and how they thought I was a great addition to the team. I really wasn't trying to hear all that though, and didn't respond. I felt like if I was so amazing, they would have said something to me to my face, which of course never happened. When I saw that manager, as I was working my last couple of weeks, we just did not speak at all. Like we'd be in the same room and oh, hi, hello. Anything other than that? Crickets. Yeah, another quick side note. I was only going to be gone for 3 days. 3 days, that was it. It's not like I was going on a work trip where I was going to be gone for 3 weeks and you won't see me for another month. I was going to be gone for 3 days and they were like, yeah, nah, not going to happen, Captain. Sorry. So I quit and took those days off to see my friend in South Carolina. And it was awesome. Cracking jokes on the road, hanging out with the family, and just doing dumb shit, We laughed and shared stories, and in that moment, nothing else mattered. Just the road, the laughter, and The kind of joy you don't plan for, but never forget. Because we weren't chasing memories, we were making them. But of course, life wasn't about to let me off that easy. Here's where the shit really hit the fan. Remember that job that I was talking about my dad got lined up for me? Apparently, the supervisor was awful and didn't even look at my resume. So I was just out of a job for 3 months and I ran out of money halfway through the second month. And y'all already know the market of finding a job right now is impossible. You'll be better off finding your dad at the grocery store with the milk. And to add insult to injury, during that time, my car decided to turn its back on me too. I had a classic CLK 430 Benz. Beautiful on the outside, but a complete mess under the hood. My bills were stacking up, insurance, tags, all of it, and it wasn't even working properly. On top of that, I was still paying rent while living with my parents, and there was no way in hell I was going to be able to keep up with all of it. I was cooked. The worst part, to be honest, was I had to borrow money from friends and family. I even had to ask my little sister for cash once, and that was difficult. Now, to be clear, there's nothing wrong with asking for help when you need it. But as a teenager, scratch that, as a person, there's a certain pride in not having to ask. I actually talked about this in an earlier video. Going from making my own decisions and driving out to another state on a whim to not knowing if I'll be able to make it to school that day. That was humbling, man. Eventually, I landed a job at a donut shop, which honestly, LeBron would be the perfect spokesperson for.
The Los Angeles Lakers have...
And I got fired not even a week in for a whole nother reason. I promise y'all I'm not a terrible worker. And after that job, I started working at the original job that my dad got for me in the first place. I'm still working there to this day, and it's incredible. I really appreciate the job for everything that it's given me, but I'm still looking for something that's gonna match my speed. You know, because like I said earlier in the beginning, I don't like people telling me what to do, so I'm gonna be my own boss. And I was able to bounce back from everything, you know. I got a new car, got a new job, and life's good. So I'm sure some of you are wondering, was it worth it? Would I do it again even though I ran out of money and had no clue when my next paycheck was coming? And my answer to that is abso-fucking-lutely. I've never been prouder of myself. I went to see my friend, someone who means the world to me, and doubled down when I was told no, and still came out on top. In my book, that's an absolute win. Moral of the story, don't be afraid to take that leap of faith when your heart is telling you something. And if someone tries to tell you otherwise, fuck them. Alright y'all, if you enjoyed this story time and you want more like it, you already know what to do. Drop a like on the video, and if you're rocking with the vibe, hit that sub button too. I want to see how far we can take this. I'm aiming for 100 subs by the end of April. I know in my earlier videos I said like 1,000, but you know, life gets in the way and I got about 150 billion things to do. So I'm taking it one day at a time, you guys, one day at a time. Anyways, I appreciate all of you for sticking around, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.
Thank you, Alaska.
Shorty wanna be a rock star.